Morning, everybody. Well, it's cold here. 32 degrees last night, but it still didn't frost. It's about 36 right now. That's in Fahrenheit. There's a little bit of wind out there. Not many leaves left, I'll give you that. Well, that other video I showed you, you could see them blowing. Yeah, so we've had some high winds. And, well, first here, I want to talk a little bit about an A400, a Siro A-400 Starduster. But let me show you this first. Now, I'm going to go as slow as I can. And I want to show you what I've been doing. And I don't know if this even does that justice. But there's 10 cords of wood there, roughly, that need to be stacked. There's 15 there. And then there's stuff inside. Excuse me, my allergies are up. It's a high pollen day, believe it or not. Okay, so let's get back to business here. All right, let me find center. How's that? That's pretty good. Yeah, we're recording. All right, let me just show you a couple of the key components here. We'll start out with our outriggers. We'll allow that to stay there. Okay, so these would be your bait, the riggers. Well, I don't even know how to explain it, but this is definitely the part that hangs down on the A400. You have three of them. I'll call them outriggers or in, you know. So there's two pieces per. One screws into the other, and you're able to make a slight adjustment if you had to. Most adjustments on this are going to be made at the top, but they give you some directions, and it's pretty much right there where you can see that mark. So these are in about 1.5 inches. Yeah, 2 inches. Yeah, giving it that. About 2 inches. You can see the common thread on there, I hope. All right. And that, of course, is going to screw into these 3 ports. Oh, yeah, I got it hooked good now. And let me show you these 3. I don't want to drop it because Glenn will say something. So you have 3 ports here, threaded, and they're going to accept those 3, and then, of course, then you have that extension. So you have that footage going downward. You always have to remember that, how long this is that you have, because you have to clear, say, your house or a tree or something like that. Okay, this is going to be mounted, at the very top, so your cable's coming up there. So there within lies the next problem. And it's not really a problem. But if you can see in there, I hope you can, that's your coaxial connection. What's that, 239? You're going to want your 259 to go to that. But what's the problem here? Well, if you have this mounted on a piece of pipe, say, okay, and tightened on, you have to run your cable out the bottom of your pipe. Well, your antenna pole. So that, a lot of people, that's not a big deal because they've got it attached to the house and they can run it straight through. You know where I'm going with that, and it'll fall out the bottom. But if you're doing it other ways where, like my mounts are in the ground 3 feet, and there's concrete, maybe 200 pounds of concrete in each of those, and then there's some stones and rocks, and so when you see everything I got, it's in the ground. So there's no way. What could you do? Drill a hole in a piece of pipe like this? Don't ever do it. Not if you're going to use it for your antenna. That'd be the weakest spot you could ever make. So what you do is you hook, and I hope you can see this, right? This pipe right here onto there. Now this pipe would go to the antenna pole, which would allow your coax to come out the bottom, right? So I'm not getting involved in doing anything with the actual antenna post I have. A little rust here, I'll take care of that. Of course, this is an adjustment here that you have, and if you're seeing that, and this is the big adjustment on this antenna. That's all there is to this, except you have your spreader, all right, for your legs or whatever you want to call them. That's going to go on the post, and of course they're going to go on. It's going to go, yeah, like that, and they're going to be held tight by that hole there, hopefully. A little bit bend on this one. This has been up 4 years, but it's in mint shape. There's nothing the matter with it. So if you're going to get an A400 Starduster made by Siro, however you want to pronounce it, it's a great antenna for the money. There's no real weight to this thing at all. until you attach this pipe to it. But again, that's how I was doing it, and I was up 30 feet. Yeah, 30 feet. So the antenna that's up there now in place of this is a vector, and it's not up there 30 feet. It's up 20 something. And the reason being is when the vector starts, it's right here. Well, when this starts, it's 9 feet above the ground. I mean, or 9 feet above that. You have to make that distance up plus push up. So a lot of people say, wow, they'll buy this antenna and then they're like, oh man. But I'm telling you, it's worth the effort. And just to think it through. Those are the parts. Do yourself a favor. I don't really endorse people. But Siro, if you're going to buy one of these, buy theirs. There's another one out there. It's called a B, I believe. I don't even know if they're still making them. I hope they do not. Some of the parts, like this part, the spreader, is cheap compared to this. This is a much better spreader. So, it was all greased up, and it had some tape on it and stuff in the right places, and it works well. It worked well right to the end. There's nothing the matter with it. So I'm going to store it in the shed, and we'll see what we do with it next year. I also have a Siro. I have 2 or 3 Siros in the shed. So I just want to explain that to you. As far as adding on the pipe, and then the height distance is going to make a very, very big difference when you go to install this darn thing. Now, I didn't even have guy wires on this. Now, the Vector I have guy wires on because the weight difference is immense. There is a big difference in weight. It weighs nothing, in my opinion. And I forget what the instruction manual says, what it actually weighs, but it's not much. Everything is basically either self-tapper screws, to tighten these babies together, or those threads there that go into the mount, or you have Allen's, the keys, rather, let's just say keys, to tighten everything. So I'll finish very quickly, I hope, here. Great antenna, did the job, always did the job. Compared to the StarDuster, compared to the Astroplane, there's some days this antenna here worked a little better. But overall, the Astroplane was doing the heavy lifting. And that's still in place, of course, and we're testing that against the Vector. And I'm finding a few things out, and I'll relate those later, about some issues. Not issues. I really like the antenna. I think it's great. So they're not issues, they're good things. So just keep that in mind if you're going to get an antenna like this. Of course, this comes off, as we said earlier, this piece here. And it disconnects down the base. Of course, I had that off too and cleaned. So it's for the money. I paid $62.50 US dollars for this antenna 4 years ago, and I got it right out of Siro. And they're still selling them. I think they're around $80 now, and I think I don't know what was going on, but they had a clearance, so I made out great on that. So I did get a good deal on it. But people say this and that. I had an older one from the 70s I used for a while, and it was great antenna too. But it weighed a lot more than this antenna. So in the end, it works just as well as the old one, and it's got not that much weight. The wind here can be brutal sometimes, especially in the winter months, and it held up 4 winters. So, I can't give it a bad rap on anything. It just worked perfectly. So with that, we're going to put this back in the shed, and we'll be messing with this next year. And now I got to get some wood done. You all have a great day. Hope to catch you on the channels. NY202 is on the side.